Good morning, everyone. A very big welcome to all for joining our roundtable discussion today. I'm Wei Ting, or you can call me Miss Tan. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic, which is very close to our daily habit. So, what can you think of the things that you do every day apart from sleeping? Yes, it's eating. Do you all know that the food that we consume every day comes from either natural ingredient or artificial ingredient? I'm sure choosing from natural ingredient and artificial ingredient has become the consideration of every consumer before they pay for their food. So, here we are going to tell you, are natural ingredients always better than artificial ingredients? Before we proceed with this topic, I would like to introduce the guests for today. First, let us welcome nutritionist from Ministry of Health Malaysia, Miss Yau. Next, we have the production manager of Hershey Malaysia Sendirian Berhad, Miss Fatin. Last but not least, the food technologist of R&D executive of F&M Beverages, Miss Hazimah. Nice to meet you all. It's my pleasure to have all of you with me today. So, as I mentioned earlier, the components in our food can either be natural or artificial ingredients. It is also inevitable to have other types of food additives like food coloring or food flavoring in our food. But which of them is actually better? I think we have to understand what they really are before we can conclude which is better. I can see Miss Hazimah has ready to give information about this.
Thank you, Ms. Tan. Actually, the ingredients that are added in our food are divided into two groups, which are natural and artificial ingredient. The natural ingredient is the ingredient that present or produced by nature. Sorry. The source of natural ingredient include plants, animal, minerals, and microorganisms, and it is require only minimal physical processing to produce natural ingredient. The keyword to describe natural ingredient is the direct extraction, where they are directly extracted by using simple method, simple chemical reaction, or resulting from naturally occurring biological process. And for artificial ingredient, it is ingredient that does not exist naturally or man-made by synthesis in laboratory. The artificial ingredient is produced so that it will similar effect such as flavor or color with natural ones. That's all. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Hazimah, for providing us a better understanding on both ingredients. Although both types of ingredients might look similar in terms of their function, but they are definitely different in many other aspects. I think Ms. Yau can give a good explanation about their differences, isn't it, Ms. Yau?
Yes, of course. From the information that mentioned by Ms. Hazimah just now, I would like to add some info about their difference. First is their sources. Natural ingredients are derived from natural sources, while artificial ingredients cannot be found in nature but can be synthetic produced in laboratory. For example, vitamin C, which is also known as ascorbic acid, can be derived from an orange or synthetic produced in laboratory. In terms of composition, the artificial flavor is much more simple and also potassium safer when compared to the natural one, as there has been because only safety tested component is used. Another difference between the artificial and the natural ingredient is their is and cost. To obtain a desired natural ingredient is often require a long time, as it's hard to extract and at a only low concentration is obtained at a given time. For example, a natural coconut flavoring. Natural coconut flavoring depends on the chemical called masoya lethong with a derived from the masoya tree. So, in order to correcting this type of chemical, we need to kill the tree in order to remove the bark to extract the lethong. So, furthermore, this process is quite costly. So, in fact, the artificial ingredients are much more safer and also more cheaper compared to the natural ingredient.
That's a great explanation from Miss Yao. Now we know the differences between these two types of ingredients. No matter it is natural or artificial, there will be more or less additives added in our food. So what is the purpose of adding additives in our food? Can our food be consumed without the need of adding additives? What is your opinion on this, Miss Hazimah?
In my opinion, additive is a must to be added in our food. This is because additive has variety of role and useful purpose. Additive can help to maintain or improve the nutritional quality of a food. For example, vitamins and minerals are added into many foods to make up for those lacking in person's diet or lost in processing, or to enhance the nutritional quality of a food. Furthermore, it can provide the ingredient for consumer with specific nutritional requirements, such as sweetener replacing the sugar for diabetes. Adding additive also we aid in manufacturing process and to maintain or improve the to improve the consistency, texture, and other sensory properties such as flavor, aroma, and color. For example, emulsifier will allow the uniform dispersion of fat and water in such product, mayonnaise and salad dressing. And for stabilizer and thickener, we provide for stabilizer and thickener, we aid in the production of smooth texture ice cream.
Thanks, Miss Hazimah, for providing us the information about the importance and their role of additives in our food. In my opinion, both ingredients are equally important and play the similar role in food industry, although they might have some certain differences in other aspects. However, in between these two types of ingredients, which is actually more preferable to be used in industry? Is it natural one or artificial one? I'm sure this is best answered by Miss Fatin, right?
Okay, for me, both artificial and natural ingredients have their own benefit and challenge. In industry, the cost is a big challenge to think about. We also need to think other aspect before we decide the ingredient. The harmfulness between both, we need to give priority because it contribute consumer. In Malaysia, we have Food Act and Regulation, also FDA, to regulate the use of artificial ingredient. So basically, what we use in industry and what was labeled on packaging was allowed by Food Act and Regulation, also FDA. As a food manufacturer, we also need consumer trusted and satisfied. The more consumer can pay for it, the better ingredient that we can use. So for me, it depends on a consumer, because in industry we never use harmful and food adulteration because we want to produce a good quality product. So the more consumer can pay for it, the better ingredient we can use. Thank you.
Thanks, Miss Fatin, for the information. Well, how about the nutritional value of artificial ingredient and also natural ingredients? I'm concerned about their nutritional value that can provide to us. As a nutritionist, Miss Yao, I believe you have your words to utter here.
Yes, Miss Tan. In fact, both of the ingredients provide the same nutrition value, just that the artificial one have a lower calorie. Actually, the purpose of adding the additive is to enhance the flavor and color, but no focus on nutrition value. So some of the ingredients can cause allergic for intolerant people. So they should actually try to avoid all those substances.
Thank you, Miss Yao. Since there are both natural and artificial ingredients used in the market, so we cannot avoid that consumers will compare between these two. So the effect of both ingredients to their health has become their concern. But what they think as a natural produced ingredient is actually safer than artificial synthesized ingredient. Is that true, Miss Yao?
That's not really true, Miss Tan. When you listen to consumer mind, they think that nature is connected with everything good, nature, safe, healthy. They believe that artificial is associated with chemical and very unhealthy. This type of message is mainly driven by marketing and not by science. Actually, the nature is as chemical as artificial one, but the constant barrage of the marketing and the product information is actually teaching the consumer that the nature is free of chemical. It is important to note that it's important to note that not all the natural flavor are safe. For example, almond flavoring. When almond flavor is derived from nature, traces of hydrocyanide, which is a deadly poison, it can be produced. But when you derive artificially by mixing oil or clove and aluminium acetate, no cyanide is produced. In fact, artificial flavoring is not that bad, and as they are also been potentially safer because has been legally tested and users.
That's an interesting fact from Miss Yao. From the explanation by Miss Yao just now, natural ingredients not necessarily better, while artificial ingredients not necessarily dangerous to be consumed. By comparing both ingredients, food technologies tend to produce artificial ingredients rather than producing natural ingredients. Is it so, Miss Fatin? What do you think are the challenges to produce natural ingredients?
In industry, we always get complaint from consumer to continue shift away the trans fat food toward the healthier alternative. Also, consumer do not want the food that contain artificial dyes. More natural the food product, the better. The biggest challenge are cost. The more better the ingredient, the more natural the ingredient, the higher cost it is. The supplier also demand on the food on a raw material and on a organic raw material, so we need to pay more. This means manufacturer must maintain the price of the product while offering the good quality product. Other challenge that we are facing is technology. In order to remain the neutrality of the product, manufacturers are able to test, prototype, test and launch the new technology to maintain the neutrality. As we know, natural ingredients are unstable, so the technology is technology for processing, packaging, freezing, canning and other need to improve to maintain the neutrality.
Thank you, Miss Fatin. Yes, these are the challenges faced by the food manufacturers to produce natural ingredients demanded by most customers. However, no matter what type of food ingredients are produced in the industry, it must follow certain laws and food regulation use. I think Miss Hazimah has a wider knowledge on this. Could you please tell us more about this?
Sure, Ms. Tan. In Malaysia, the Ministry of Health are responsible in controlling and improving the uses of food additive in our food. Since the food additives are widely used in food processing, strict control on the use of food additive is important. Only the suitable and safe food additives are permitted to be added in our foods. Food additives are only permitted to be added in certain food at a maximum level under the specified in Food Regulation 1985. The Ministry of Health only approved the use of food additives that do not pose any hazard to human health. Furthermore, at the same time, the Ministry of Health will conduct ongoing monitoring program to ensure that the use of food additives in food industry complies with the maximum complies with the permitted level under the Food Regulation 1985. Furthermore, all additives are subject to ongoing safety review as scientific understanding and method of testing will continue to improve. So consumers should feel safe about the food that they eat every day.
Yes, I agree. Although those ingredients are tested and regulated, we still cannot avoid that customer will still worry about the health effect that might bring to them. Since we cannot prevent this situation to happen, why don't just the food manufacturers disclose the component of the flavorings in their ingredient list?
The reason is simple: competition. Flavor are proprietary and manufacturers don't want their formulas that landing on competitors' hand. Additionally, the list of the flavor would simply be to belong to cover on the package.
Oh, that makes sense. So consumers don't have to worry much about the ingredients present in their food, especially the artificial one, as they are actually safe to be consumed. How about the role of modern technology in producing food additives? Do you have any idea, Miss Fatin?
Yes. Many new technology have been researched to approve that we allow the production of additive. One approach is the use of biotechnology which use simple organisms that produce a food additive. This additive has the same as food component that found in nature. In 1990, FDA have approved the first bioengineered enzyme, renin, which traditionally extracted from calf stomach that can use in making cheese. Food manufacturer also testing out the natural way for color processed food through various spices. For example, the use of turmeric rather than yellow 5 and yellow 6 that used in macaroni and cheese. And other example, the use of paprika to emulate the orange color in sausage and frosting.
That's interesting to hear from Miss Fatin. Thanks to all the guests today for giving such valuable information about the topic that we are discussing. So I think that we come to a conclusion that natural does not always mean safer or better. At the same time, artificial ingredients either add value to our food or do not bring any harm to us. Food manufacturer might also produce artificial ingredients to replace natural ingredients in the future, as they are actually saving costs and easier to be extracted. Both ingredients have their pros and cons, but at the end, it depends on what you choose and how you utilize them. But the most important thing is that consumers should avoid to having the wrong concept that natural is always better and accept the fact that artificial ingredients are actually safe to be consumed. So thanks for spending your time with us today. See you again next time.